You're listening to The Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the latest and greatest in sports as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at Rheal Jacob Valk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Welcome to another edition of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and I have to start with Dak Prescott finally getting paid. The 2-year ordeal is over. Prescott is going to be a Cowboy for the next 4 years at least. The Cowboys signed him for $40 million a year. So it is a 4-year deal worth $160 million, $126 million guaranteed, a no trade clause. The Cowboys can't tag him in 2025, so it's either sign him to another big boy contract or watch him play quarterback somewhere else. And incentives could bump the deal to $164 million. Regardless of whatever way you want to slice it, AAV, guaranteed money, total value, Dak Prescott is now the second highest paid player in NFL history. There's a lesson here. When you're a franchise quarterback, and make no mistake about it, Dak Prescott is a franchise quarterback. He'd probably be in my top 12 of best quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe top 10. I'd really need to think about it. Undisputedly, he's in the top 15. When you're that type of player, and it's your turn to get paid, it doesn't matter if you're not the second best quarterback in the NFL, or the third best, or the fourth best. You're gonna get a record-breaking contract. Excluding Patrick Mahomes, because he is in a completely different stratosphere from everyone else. Prescott's the highest paid player in the NFL. And as much as I like Prescott, and I do like him, would have loved him on the Jets, and I think the Cowboys can win with him. But as much as I like him, there's no way on this earth that he deserves $40 million a year. I understand why the Cowboys wanted to go 5 years. There are only 3 players in the NFL to have an AAV of at least $39 million. Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, and Patrick Mahomes. We can all agree that Mahomes has earned his contract. We can all agree that Watson has earned his contract. Dak Prescott isn't in that tier. If I'm being generous, he's in the Watson tier. Great quarterback who really hasn't won anything in this league. But having said that, Watson never had a year where he only started 5 games. Yes, Watson's rookie year, after he got the starting job, he got hurt. No question. That's his rookie year, though. That has proven to be an aberration. And Watson wasn't getting that contract right after that year. Prescott is. The Cowboys are giving Prescott this contract in the off-season of the year that he only started 5 games. Watson has proven that he's not an injury-prone quarterback. We have no idea how Prescott is going to come back from his injury. Look, before last year, he started every game. He was an Iron Man. There's no question. But you're giving a guy $40 million a year coming off a devastating injury. He had a compound fracture. He dislocated his right ankle. Part of what makes Prescott so great is his mobility. He's not Lamar Jackson or anything. But he can run around. He can improvise. He is a good running quarterback. You have no idea how it's going to be affected coming off this injury. This is basically the equivalent of some team signing Alex Smith to a monumental contract. I understand that Prescott is a lot younger, but in terms of injury risk, they're very similar. You think any team is going to give Alex Smith a contract with a lot of guaranteed money? Look, I'm not saying don't lock up Prescott. The Cowboys had no choice. When you have a great quarterback, and I will use that adjective for Prescott, because I do believe he's great, you need to lock him up. But $40 million a year is absurd. The highest I would have gone would have probably been $36 million a year. Maybe 38. Pay him less than Watson. Keep him close to Russell Wilson. That's fair, because now you have Dak Prescott mentioned in the same breath as Patrick Mahomes. On no planet are those guys anywhere close to each other in terms of talent. The Cowboys could have gone 5 years, given him this exact contract, $160 million, and then it's $32 million a year he's getting. That ties him with Carson Wentz. For a guy coming off his season where he only played 5 games, I don't think that's unreasonable. It pays him less than Russell Wilson. It pays him less than Aaron Rodgers. You want to bump it up a little bit to maybe 175? That's $35 million a year. That ties him with Wilson. That's a lot more reasonable. 4 years, 160, $40 million a year. That's tough for me to get behind. But I can't kill the Cowboys. I really can't. There's a great quote about free agency. And it was said in respect to MLB free agency. but it applies to free agency in all sports. I don't remember exactly who said it, but the saying is, we're at the mercy of our stupidest owner. Truer words have never been spoken. Derek Carr, once upon a time, held the record for richest contract by a quarterback in NFL history at $25 million a year. Carr was making more than everyone. Derek Carr didn't deserve that title. And then you saw the floodgates open. You saw these very good quarterbacks, not great, getting paid because Derek Carr got paid. Matthew Stafford eclipsed it. No problem. Jimmy Garoppolo eclipsed it before he ever made a Super Bowl. Didn't deserve it in the slightest. Kirk Cousins got the crazy all-guaranteed contract in free agency. How's that working out for the Vikings? Jared Goff's contract was so bad that the Rams had to trade 2 first-round picks just to get out of it. I like Goff, but he's massively overpaid. Because those very good, not great quarterbacks got paid those gargantuan sums of money, the really great quarterbacks, guys like Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers said, hey, I'm better than these guys. You have to pay me more. If I'm better than person X, I should make more than person X. That is a perfectly reasonable mindset. Welcome to America. And now it's basically collapsed in on itself. You have Dak Prescott making $40 million a year. We knew someone was going to join Mahomes in the $40 million club. Not Prescott. I didn't see Prescott coming. I mean, I'll tell you, guys like Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Murray had to be doing backflips when they saw this. If Prescott gets 40 mil, those guys are getting 40 mil. Easy. Or at the very least, they're in the ballpark. Gone are the days of quarterbacks taking team-friendly deals to try to help their team have the flexibility to put a winner together. Tom Brady did it with the Patriots. It's part of the reason why they were able to put together those rosters that won the last 3 Super Bowls. I mean, the Cowboys at this very moment are over the cap. Not by a lot. They're only over by $1,165,727. So they can cut Greg Zuerlein and get under the cap. No problem. The thing is, though, you're not going to have a lot of breathing room. This roster that the Cowboys have right now, with guys like Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, La'el Collins, CeeDee Lamb, DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, etc., etc. That's the roster that Prescott's going to need to win with. Can he do it? Will the Dallas Cowboys win with Dak Prescott playing under this current contract? I don't know. They can win the NFC East. No question about that. I'm not saying they will, but they certainly have the talent necessary to do it. Once they get into the playoffs, though, what happens then? Can they compete with the Buccaneers? Can they compete with the Rams? Can they compete with the Packers? Can they compete with the Chiefs? Can they compete with the Bills? Probably not. There is logic to the quarterback taking a little bit of a discount so his team can put together a great roster around him. I understand that Prescott wanted his money. The guy's been waiting 2 years to get it. And the guy's coming off a devastating injury. I'm not begrudging Prescott for taking the money. But you've got to realize these teams with a lot of money invested in their quarterback usually don't win in the NFL. In terms of quarterback contract average cap percentage, Tom Brady's deal is at the middle of the pack. When you look at last year, Brady's contract accounted for just 12.61% of the Buccaneers' total spending. Yes, Mahomes is at the top of that list, but he's Patrick Mahomes. He can make any roster look really, really good, okay? He's an anomaly. Deshaun Watson is second. The Texans didn't come anywhere close to the playoffs. The Packers came close, there's no question, but that thing that I said about Mahomes applies to Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson didn't come anywhere close. Roethlisberger didn't come anywhere close. Goff didn't come anywhere close. Yes, those teams made the playoffs, but those three teams combined for just one playoff win. And the Rams beat the Seahawks. The Eagles didn't make it. The Falcons didn't make it. The Vikings didn't make it. The Lions didn't make it. The Niners didn't make it. There's logic to the quarterback taking a little bit of a discount. And if the quarterback does it, other guys will follow. Maybe not outside guys coming into the organization, but the homegrown guys? Yeah, they probably will. Look, congrats to Prescott for getting his money. The guy earned it. He should have gotten it a long time ago. I'm not begrudging the Cowboys for doing what they did. They're at the mercy of all the other previous contracts. It's just hard for me to get behind $40 million a year. But if you're a Cowboys fan, be happy that you finally got your franchise quarterback locked up. And the Cowboys can win the division next year. There's no question about that. Everyone just needs to stay healthy. Moving on now to the Las Vegas Raiders, who made a couple big moves. They cut LaMarcus Joyner, and they traded Trent Brown and their 7th rounder in not this coming draft, but the draft after, to the Patriots for their 5th rounder that same year. I'll start with Joyner. It was very predictable that he wouldn't work out with the Raiders. The guy was a really good safety for the Rams. His last year with the Rams was 2018. According to Pro Football Focus, that year, as a free safety, he had a 74.9 overall grade. for some inexplicable reason, the Raiders signed him to a big contract. No problem with that. But then they moved him to nickel corner. That was destined to fail. I don't think anyone outside of the Raiders front office and their coaching staff thought that would work. His first year with the Raiders, he had a 47.5 overall grade. Last year, he took a step up, but he was still really bad. 53.8 overall grade. Cutting him saves the Raiders $8.7 million. They could really use the flexibility. At this moment, they're only $3.2 million under the cap. You can't do much with that. The Raiders had no choice but to cut him. I just feel bad for Joyner that he was put in a situation in which he was destined to fail. I do think he'll land on his feet. Any team that could use a free safety, go out and sign LaMarcus Joyner. You're not going to get Marcus May. He was franchise tagged by the Jets. I have no problem with that. I'd like to see him locked up long term, but I didn't want to see him hit free agency. The Jets can still lock him up long term. But if you need a free safety, sign Joyner. I don't mind that at all. As for the Brown trade, I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. We knew that Brown was available. I talked about that. And I think I said that if I was the Raiders, I wouldn't want to trade him. But if I was going to, I'd want either a 4th or a 5th. Something like that, I'm pretty sure is what I said. Well, the Raiders got a 5th. They gave up a 7th, but they got a 5th. I don't care about the 7th. I don't care that the pick isn't in this coming NFL draft, but the draft after. There will be a 2022 NFL draft. And people are forgetting this. Brown basically only played in 4 games last year for the Raiders. Week 1, the guy only played 3 snaps. That doesn't count. He played in weeks 5, 14, 15, and 16. That's it. This guy has an injury history with the Raiders. Even in 2019. The guy basically only played in 10 games. I understand that football is a violent game, but when you sign a guy to a big contract, you want him to stay healthy. Brown hasn't done that. Now, he's been good in those 2 years. Last year, 68.9 overall grade. The year before, 69.1 overall grade. His 1 year with the Patriots, he won a Super Bowl and had a 69.7 overall grade. That's when people really started paying attention to him. Now, I saw some people questioning the fit. Brown plays right tackle. The Patriots had Michael Onwenu there, and he had a great year. 84.3 overall grade according to Pro Football Focus. Where are you going to play this guy? There's a really easy answer to that. A few games last year, Onwenu did play guard. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, the Patriots are going to let Joe Thuney walk. So Onwenu's going to slide over to left guard. Brown's going to play right tackle. At least that's what I think. And that can work. I have no problem with that at all. This is a great trade for the Patriots. They easily win it. I don't hate this move for the Raiders. They did save a lot of money. And you gotta think that they're gonna reinvest it in someone a little more durable. I mean, a lot of people were criticizing the Raiders for this. You saw all the tweets about Gruden's and Mayock's first offseason together. In 2019, they traded for Antonio Brown. He was cut before he ever played a game for him. Tyrell Williams was signed. He was cut. He's now with the Lions. Trent Brown was just traded. LaMarcus Joyner was just cut. Vontaze Burfict got suspended. Brandon Marshall was cut. Isaiah Crowell never played a game for the Raiders. Jonathan Abram, massive bust. Yes, there's no question that was a dreadful offseason for the Raiders. But they are on the right track. They went 8-8 last year. They went 7-9 the year before. They've gotten off to really hot starts before fading late. I think they're going to make a concerted effort to fix the defense. Paul Gunther was fired last year. Gus Bradley is their new defensive coordinator. He has been a successful defensive coordinator before. The Raiders are fine. Don't worry about them. They're in the playoff hunt. I'm not saying they're going to make it, but they're in the hunt. Speaking of offensive lineman trades, I have to talk about another AFC East team trading for a right tackle. No, it's not the Jets. That would make sense. Instead, it's Isaiah Wilson going to the Dolphins. The Dolphins are also getting a 7th rounder in this coming draft, and they're sending out their 7th rounder in 2022. This ticked me off. This ticked me off a lot more than seeing Brown go to the Patriots. Because there's no good reason for Isaiah Wilson to not be a Jet right now. I called for the Jets to trade for Wilson. I knew that he was a buy low candidate. This guy has a ton of talent. I really liked him coming out of Georgia. He's also local. He went to my father's high school, Poly Prep in Brooklyn. He was born in Brooklyn. I thought being back in a more familiar environment would do him a world of good. The Jets could stand to upgrade at right tackle. George Fant isn't great. He's not awful, but he's not great. I thought having a competition between Fant and Wilson for the starting right tackle spot would have been great. Last year, if you had told me that the Jets could have Mekhi Becton and Isaiah Wilson, I'd be doing backflips. Instead, he goes to the Dolphins. Let me tell you, the Dolphins are building a pretty good offensive line. They're investing in Tua. Give them credit. That's the right decision. They drafted Austin Jackson last year. Didn't have a good rookie year, but still, rookie year. Robert Hunt had a really good rookie season. Eric Flowers actually had a really good season last year. They've got the makings of something pretty darn good in Miami. if they can sign Corey Linsley, the Dolphins are set. There is no question in my mind that Wilson can reach his full potential. Life just hit him hard. The guy made a ton of mistakes, no question. But for me to give up on a 22-year-old kid who was the 29th overall pick in the last NFL draft would be lunacy. Yes, the Titans went scorched earth. They kind of had to trade him. But I didn't like that decision to salt the earth so nothing would ever grow there again. Again, I'm not intimately familiar with what the Titans did and didn't do to support Wilson, but I don't like giving up on him this soon. And to give him up for just a swap of 7th rounders, the Dolphins made out like bandits here. Think about it. This is basically akin to them drafting Isaiah Wilson with a 7th round pick. Every team in the NFL should have been lining up for that. How do the Jets not exceed that? You know what, John Robinson? You can keep your 7th, keep your 6th, keep all your picks. I don't want him. I'll give you a 6th round pick for Isaiah Wilson. Done! This is making me nervous as a Jets fan. I'm not going to lie to you. Every team in the AFC East is getting better except the Jets. Remember that thing I said in the New York Islanders show about all teams being tied for first right now in the NFL? At this very moment, it feels like the Jets are alone in last place. My brain is telling me, Jacob, we still have to hit free agency, calm down, Joe Douglas can still do something, but I've got a bad feeling. Moving on now to the Falcons, cutting the former Jet great James Carpenter. And this is a good move for the Falcons. Carpenter did nothing for them. Last year he had a 56.1 overall grade. The year before it was 45.3. I liked Carpenter with the Jets. I thought he was a solid left guard. Not great, but not bad. He's going to turn 32 in 13 days. It seems like his best days are behind him. It's possible a team signs him as a backup guard, but I wouldn't hold my breath if I was Carpenter. Cutting him saves the Falcons over $4 million. They really need those $4 million. Even with Carpenter being cut, the Falcons are $15.5 million over the cap. This is a good move for the Falcons. I have no complaints with it whatsoever. Moving on now to the Lions, cutting Christian Jones. And this is a good move for the Lions. I've never been a big Jones fan. I just don't think he's that good. Even as a rotational edge rusher, you can do a lot better than Christian Jones. Last year he had a 45.7 overall grade. He didn't have a single sack. Cutting him saved the Lions a little over $2.5 million. The Lions really needed it. Even counting him being cut, they're $4.7 million over the cap. And they've got a lot of work to do if they want to stay competitive, which I think they can be. I don't think the Stafford trade means that they're going to throw in the towel. They got a good quarterback in Jared Goff in return. Not as good as Stafford, but still, he's a good quarterback. Cutting Jones makes a ton of sense for the Lions. I do want to talk about a really sad baseball death. And that is Rheal Cormier, who died yesterday at the age of 53 from pancreatic cancer. Rheal Cormier was a good lefty reliever. Not great, don't get me wrong, but he was good for a number of years. I mean, I remember watching him pitch. He had talent. He started out as a starter for the St. Louis Cardinals. And he had a couple good years. In 91, his rookie year, he went 4-5 with a 4.12 ERA. That's not bad for a rookie. His sophomore year, he went 10-10 with a 3.68 ERA. So it seems like the Cardinals have something. The year after, he went 7-6 with a 4.33 ERA. He took a step back, but he wasn't bad. Then the wheels came off. In 94, he pitched in only 7 games. He had a 5.45 ERA. The Cardinals traded him to the Red Sox, where Cormier put together a good season, pitched in 48 games, had 12 starts, went 7-5 with a 4.07 ERA. The Red Sox flipped him to the Expos, where he really did nothing. Didn't have a winning record in his 2 seasons there. Didn't pitch at all in the 98 season. And it seemed like he was going to go down in history as just a footnote in baseball. But he resurfaced in 99 with the Red Sox as a pseudo-loogie. And he pitched well. In 99, he went 2-0 with a 3.69 ERA. The year after, he took a step back, but the Phillies saw enough to sign him in the 2000-2001 offseason. With the Phillies, he had his best seasons. He kept up his pseudo-loogie role. Didn't do much his first couple years there. Then, in 2003, he shined. He went 8-0 with a 1.7 ERA. He followed that up by going 4-5 with a 3.56 ERA in 84 games. I didn't know this. Thank you, Wikipedia. Cormier was the last Phillies pitcher to get a win at Veterans Stadium, which stopped hosting Phillies games in 2003. And he's also the first pitcher in Phillies history to record a win at Citizens Bank Park, which opened its doors in 2004. In 2006, in the midst of another really good season for the Phillies, he was 2-2 with a 1.59 ERA. He was traded to the Reds as they were trying to make a playoff push. It didn't work, and that really spelled the end of Cormier's major league career. In 2012, he was inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. He was born in New Brunswick. He represented his country in the World Baseball Classic and the Summer Olympics in 2006 and 2008 respectively. May he rest in peace. Tomorrow you're going to get an interview that I'm going to do with Dennis Crawford, the author of a book on John Bassett, the guy who fought Donald Trump over the USFL's future and lost. Also, I'm going to be reacting to the Basketball Hall of Fame finalists, which are going to be announced at 3 p.m. today. Until next time, I am Jacob Valk saying that all of Mariano Rivera's saves came during relief appearances.